Hello everybody, this is John Seville. This is your executive summary for stock setups for the 28th of October. That is tomorrow in Wednesday's trading. Okay, what an epic day. So for everybody who followed along in the executive summary last night, obviously we had a really good trading day. Okay. So it went really, really well. Just adjust the screen a little bit, should help you see. Let's just do a quick recap. Obviously, the stocks discussed last night, you can see were MRD, NUS, MKTO, ADPT, BHE, CIR, GIL, MGIL, MD. So we'll just a quick few updates on that. I'll just post those here in the screen. So in terms of the order of updates, I'll put that over to the side, and you'll be able to just follow along here. Or maybe this side. There we go. So AKAM. This was obviously one of our alerts for an earnings play. This had a significant drop, so this one just plummeted after market. It's down to 64.80 was the last time I saw it. This is a shot straight down, so this earnings play should pay off really, really well. This just goes to show why we weren't worried about this oscillation back and forth, because it was still holding beneath its channel, and on the weekly chart, it was still holding beneath its midline here that we've been talking about, as well as that trend line there across the tops of these candles. So you can see here, oops, here, and here we didn't break through, so very comfortably held, and that's plummeted now and broken through that trend line. So tomorrow will be a very exciting day on that one. Also, for those of you following our Big One program, members of the Big One, we have a CMI, Cummins, had a big drop today, 9.3%. So that one has paid off significantly as well. For those of you who were Big One members who maybe bought puts in that hit that profit target easily of that 104 level that we were talking about, closing in at 102. So that certainly has hit the exit target also. PII, one of the ones we hold puts in, continues to drop. This is looking like a bear flag at the moment. It's starting to decline, so this looks really, really good. The volume's holding around that $1 million level, so certainly really, really encouraged by that. Nothing bad to say about either. Okay, so a quick look at the stocks from last night. Last night we just suggested the December 15 puts on MRD. Those are up about. Let's have a quick look. Those are up. Those are up 66.67% today. NUS, we suggested the October 33 puts. They were up to $1 from 60 cents. So up 66.67%. The longer dated ones, which were the ones we talked about, March $30 puts, are up also 26%. MKTO triggered as well. The $25 April put, however, is unchanged. But so we'll wait to see what happens with that tomorrow. ADPT, that's the Head and Shoulders we talked about yesterday. That looks awesome. Those are up 7.69%, despite the stock actually rallying. The put still went up. BHE, the stock dropped 2%. That was the inverse flag. That looks like it's going to be good for about 10 to 15% to the downside. CRR, Carbon Ceramics, also again looking very, very good. Those puts, obviously, you can see are up 28%. MD. Wasn't as impressive, only 6.45. GIL, the clothing store, really excited about that one. Those are up 22%. Across the board, those alerts from last night, almost every single one of them being a really decent move today if you had have bought any of those puts or decided that was a trade that was right for you. So if you did miss yesterday's summary, it may mean that you're not a fully fledged member of our membership. Maybe you're just getting the free newsletters. So I'd highly encourage you to check it out. Just go to acornwealthcorp.com/YouTube. And you can see the last night's summary going over these positions. That's what we send out basically every day. So if you are wanting to give us a trial and try our services out for a month, it only costs $9, and you can just go to acornwealthcorp.com/fly, FLY. So really cheap for a trade of this amount of upsize, $9. So anyway, there you go. Hope you give it a go. So let's move on to some of the new ones. I was looking for shorts and longs because I like to hedge, and we have a couple of really interesting plays. Here is the first one. Now this is a short. This one is T-Mobile. They announced today, but and the stock plummeted. What you can see though is we've got a nice head and shoulders pattern. So left shoulder, then a bit of a breach, head, and then this kind of right shoulder. So it's not perfect by any stretch of the word, but this could have an easy drop down towards this kind of $35 mark. So what I thought on T-Mobile was looking at kind of the May $36 puts, looking at long dated options. And those are currently they're a buck. What were they? I think the last transaction price was a $1.66. The bid after market was $2.51. $2.51 by 218. So 218 is the bid. Ask is 251. So somewhere around that kind of 220, 230 area. As maybe we'll have to have a look at what it's trading at tomorrow. If we get a bit of a rally tomorrow on that drop, that will give an ideal entry point. So just have to see how that goes in the morning in terms of picking the entry. But that looks like good for a $5 drop at least down to that $35, $34 area, and then could even drop further into kind of 32, even 29. Remember, this stock has had a long run up, and its P/E ratio I think was over 129 or something like that. If we have a look at the insider trading, we'll just go to that tab. So you can have a look. There's TMUS, P/E ratio of 124. And you can see that big chunk of insider trading coming in right here in the last month. So not a great vote of confidence. So TMUS, like that one. That's the short, the new short for today. In terms of two speculative longs, I love offsetting big shorts with biotech longs, and of course with these biotechs, they can always get bought out, and you never know what's going to go on with them. So I only usually trade the options on these for that reason, because you can control your risk. This was the first one, NTRA. So what I found interesting about this is it's actually got a very strong money flow accumulation there. So you can see it's starting to turn around. The price hasn't changed of the stock. This has gone up from 32 to 26, so it's starting to make good recovery. It's a new stock, so speculative, but making that kind of fallen angel type formation that we all know so well in terms of these types of performers. What I found interesting about it as well was the nature of the insider transactions. And if you go and have a look here, one of the let's have a look at the NTRA. You can see there's been what $9 million dollars right there at $22. Then another $6.5 or so million dollars at $18. There's some confidence coming in from this guy, so it's worth checking out what else he's been involved in. And if we have a look, and you go and have a look at some of the other individual companies he's bought and sold, you'll see that if we go back and look at, okay, well in 2012 he got out of AMRN at $10. Okay, what happened after that? Right. So after he got out, basically, this stock went all the way down to $1.82. So would you say that that was a prudent trade? I would say so. So far, so good track record. Let's have a look at OCRX, purchased at $6 in 2013. Okay, 2013. When was the trade? It was July. So in July, at 6.13, right around there, it then proceeded to rally to a high of $8.97 and, peaked out around $19. I would say that's a prudent buy point also, wouldn't you? Okay. We have a look at HPTX. He sold that one, but that was another company he was involved in. These are all companies he's been involved in. This one skyrocketed, so he's been involved in a very, very strong performing company. So that's a vote of confidence for his track record. CHRS, last one in November last year. So November of last year. Okay. Let's just double check that date. Yeah, November of last year. Bought a bunch. Oh, that's not too bad, is it? Look at that. Up from 12, 13 bucks where he bought it at to 32. So I would pay attention to anything he's putting $13 million into, wouldn't you? Let's have a look at the sizes of these previous transactions. The sizes of these transactions were selling big amounts and it plummeted. Okay, buying big amounts. Yeah, like I think that this guy seems to know what he's doing. So I like this one, and therefore I would be looking at the April 12.50 calls, which are currently 60 cents on NTRA, and that'd be a longer term play. So we'll see how that one goes. Very exciting, longer term stuff. Put some small capital in, it could make you a lot of money, but always that's for you to determine if it's right for you. They're not a recommendation to buy or sell, but certainly if this does overcome this 20-day moving average, it's looking very strong from a short-term perspective given the lack of previous data. The last one for this summary is AAVL. Now this is another highly speculative type of stock. Very strong money flow coming up through this very strong movement down. So if this were able to recoup a 22.3% Fibonacci retracement, we're looking at a rally back to the $20 area. So this is again just, I can't remember if this one had insider trading. I believe I ticked yes, but I'm just going to double check that. No real insider action. So just purely speculative on a technical level. So we'd be looking at this as if it's able to kind of break the 20-day moving average overhead, which is at 889. But even now, possible. It's AAVL. The play I looked at this was the $12.50 June 2016 calls, which is 60 cents also. So that's how I'd play that. Very kind of cheap but speculative options. Looking for that big move, and that could end up around 15-20 bucks. Of course, if you add another $10 onto a 60-cent option, you're looking at obviously 1,500 plus potential percent return. So I don't need to put much money in to make that a worthwhile trade. Say you had 200 bucks of that, that's you might make a couple $1,000. So depending on what your risk tolerance is, could be a speculative trade there. A good way to know what your risk tolerance would be is how much do you normally allow yourself to lose on a stock position until you stop out. So assuming that this could go, an option could go to nothing, let's say that I put 10 grand in a stock and I'm only willing to lose $200. If that's my risk tolerance, then I would put $200 into something like this. That's the type of way that I would trade that. If I'm feeling, if I've had a really great month and I've got lots of extra profit to play with, maybe I'll increase that to $400 or $500. You know, maybe make 50 grand off that. 5 grand off that or something like that. So it just depends on what you're willing to risk. Remember, option trading is risky. Anyway, that does wrap it up for tonight, and you will. If you're not a fully fledged member of this, you can see how much detail we go into finding these stocks, running our scans and going through several layers deep, fundamentals, technicals, and insiders. So if you're not a member, give us a go at acornwealthcorp.com/fly. It's $9 a month, $9 for the first month. And then you have the option of continuing on after that. You can see all the details are on the site. All right, so for now, happy trading, everyone, and good night.